no-name woman. You must not tell anyone, my mother said.
Please tell your father what I'm telling you, okay?
What I am about to tell you. In China, your father had a sister who killed herself. She jumped into the family well. We say that your father has all brothers because it is as if she was never born. In 1924, just a few days after our village celebrated 17 hurry-up weddings to make sure that every young man who went out on the road would responsibly come home, your father and his brothers and your grandfather and his brothers and your aunt's new husband sailed for America. The Gold Mountain. It was your father's last trip. Those lucky enough to get contracted waved goodbye from the decks. They fed and guarded the stowaways and helped them off in Cuba, New York, Bali, Hawaii. We'll meet in California next year, they said. All of them sent money home. I remember looking at your aunt one day, and she and I were dressing. I had not noticed before that she had such a producing The other man was not, after all, much different from her husband. They both gave orders. She followed. If you tell your family, I'll beat you. I'll kill you. Be here again next week.
Close. Now go to the corner and put those on.
No one talked sex, ever. And she might have separated the rapes from or gathered woods in the same forest. I want her fear to have lasted tamed. No drawn out fear, but women at sex hazard birth and hence lifetimes. The fear did not stop, but permeated everywhere. She told the man, I think I'm pregnant. He organized a raid against her.
No way. That is not my kid. Hell no.
Turning. But the rare urge West had fixed upon our family, and so my aunt crossed boundaries not delineated in pace. The work of preservation demands that the feelings playing about in one's guts not be turned into action, just watch their passing like cherry blossoms. But perhaps my aunt, my forum, caught in a slow life, let dreams grow and fade, and after some months or years went toward what persisted. Free at the enormity of the forbidden kept her desires delectate, wire and bone. She looked at a man because she liked the way the hair was tucked behind his ears, and she liked the question mark.
Yeah.
When she closed her fingers as if she were making a pair of shadow geese bite, the string twisted together, catching the little hairs. Then she pulled the thread away from her skin, ripping the hairs out neatly, her eyes watering from
Combing your hair.
From the needles of pain. Opening her fingers, she cleaned the thread, then rolled it along her hairline and the tops of the eyebrows. My mother did not, the expression, caught by the short hairs, meant a captive held with depilatory string. It especially hurt at the temples. But another final reason for leaving the crowded house was never said. She may have been unusually beloved, the precious only daughter spoiled and mere gazing because of the affection the family lavished on her. When her husband left, they welcomed the chance to take her back from the in-laws. She could live like the little daughter for just a while longer. There are stories that my grandfather was different from other people. Crazy ever since a little Jap bayoneted him in the head. He used to put his naked penis on the dinner table laughing. And one day he brought home a baby girl, wrapped up inside his brown Western-style greatcoat. He may have been somebody in her own household, but intercourse with a man outside the family would have been no less abhorrent. All the village were kinsmen, and titles shouted in loud country voices. Never let kinship be forgotten. Any man within visiting distance would have been nearalized as a lover, brother, younger brother, older brother. 115 relationship titles. Parents research birth charts, probably not so much to assure good fortune as to circumvent incest in a population that has but 100 surnames. Teach her for acting as if she could have a private life, secret and apart from them. If my aunt had betrayed the family at a time of large game yield and peace, when many boys were born, the wings were being built on many houses, perhaps she had been escaped such severe punishment. But the man, hungry, greedy, tired of planting in dry soil, cuckolded, had been forced to leave the village in order to send food money home. There were ghost plagues, bandit plagues, wars, and the Japanese floods. My Japanese brother and sister had died of an unknown sickness. Adultery, perhaps only a mistake during good times, became crime when the village stars went out and out forever. Her body and her complicity seemed to disappear. She was one of the stars, a bright dot in the blackness, without home, without a companion, an eternal cold and silence. And agoraphobia rose in her, speeding higher and higher, bigger and bigger. She would not be able to contain it. There would be no end to fear. Flayed unprotected against space, she felt pain return, focusing her body. This pain chilled her, a cold, steady kind of surface pain. Spasmodically, the other pain, the pain of the child, heated her. For hours she lay on the ground, alternately body and space, sometimes a vision of normal comfort obligated, ghost-like, begging her to give it purpose. At dawn, and villagers on their way to the fields would stand around the fence and look. Full of milk, the little ghost slept. When it awoke, she hardened her breast against the milk, and crying loosens. Toward morning, she picked up the baby and walked to the well, carrying the baby to the well, showing loving. Otherwise abandon it, turns its face into the mud. Mothers who love their children take them along. It was probably a girl. There is some hope of forgiveness for boys. Don't tell anyone you had an aunt. Your father does not want to hear her name. She has never been born.
If you're dead, you don't move your hand. Okay, start walking, guys. Start walking to the... Yeah, just walk out.